Hello viewers, welcome back to the Minecraft Middle-Earth server. I'm AVeryAngryBadger from the MCME Times, here to deliver some of the hard-hitting journalism that we're best known for. Today, I'm going to be interviewing our server's administrators, who, in reference to the gods of Middle-Earth, we call the Valar. Nothing is off the table in this MCME Times exclusive. Secrets will be spilled, scandals exposed, and empires will fall. Stay tuned. The admins, or Valar as we will be calling them, are in charge of looking after the server and usually lead or overlook some group of our server's team members, such as the builders, led by our head builders, Bart and Toti Gonzalez, and the moderators, who are led by our head moderator, Smaug Nymphredel. There are currently 6 Valar and each one has a purpose. Today we'll be interviewing each of them to find out what that is and more. So, let's start with some introductions.
Hey, I'm Emeryld.
Hey everyone, my name is Toti.
My name is Guido.
I'm Bart.
Hello, I'm Smaug.
What do you do on MCME?
Well, since MCME started, I've been doing most of the technical side for the Minecraft servers that we have, the website. My role nowadays is more like on the background, behind the screens, consulting, since now we have an expanded team and we have this structure with specialized roles, each handle an aspect of running the community. I also track and handle the expenditures and donations for MCME and act as a person of contact for people who want to do collaborations or have questions in that regard.
My role is much more focused on the day-to-day business of building and 30s. I'm responsible for allowing all builders to have something they can enjoy working on. Outside of that, a large portion of my time goes towards helping figuring out various issues. I myself don't do much building anymore, though I do a bit of terrain work from time to time. I've also dabbled into a fair bit of texturing and a tiny bit of development.
I'm spending most of my time developing and maintaining our various plugins. MCM Architect is a core plugin that enables us to use blocks for building in a unique way. It also features the custom inventories we are using. I'm preparing and testing upgrades to new Minecraft versions, which can take quite a lot of time when there are major changes, like the flattening in Minecraft 1.13. That update took me almost a year. I review suggestions and feedback from the MCME community, and I search for fixes and work on fixes of reported issues. I'm also helping Q with server configuration and server maintenance.
Basically, since I returned to an admin role in MCME, I've been doing a variety of tasks, mostly trying to support the other Valors with their tasks. Trying to solve any kind of hurdle we come across as a community has been my main task for the last couple of years. In this time I made changes to the way we moderate the server and trying to improve the internal communication within the community.
My main roles are the head moderator and head guide. This means I have responsibility for the moderation team and guide team. When I'm not doing this on the server, you can find me jumping over rooftops and trees, giving unhelpful advice to builders and getting in their way, and generally having lots of fun.
Hey everyone, my name is Toti and I'm one of the head builders from MCME. I've been on MCME for about 4 years now and I'm coming up on my 3rd year as a head builder.
What's your favourite build on the server?
Probably the newer Gondo areas, because I really like the detailed vegetation and the new block possibilities there.
If I had to choose one location above all, I'd probably go with Aylalya, as it was originally built back when I first joined in 2014. I think the overgrown elements that were added in the last update will provide some amazing views throughout the many ruined streets and buildings, and seeing the Dome of the Stars peeking above the rooftops pretty much anywhere you go does give a sense of scale that not many other cities on MCME provide.
Lothlorien was my favorite for a long time, where I led my first build project. And I still like it a lot, though it's now looking quite outdated. I'm in general very fond of terrain and vegetation builds like Finrod's Misties and Jason's Andrast. But lately I must say I'm stunned by the newest projects Harland and Care Andras. Toti's models and textures are awesome, and it's incredible what our builders can achieve using those models. It's really building on a new level in my opinion.
My favorite build is actually quite a tough question. Being on the server for almost 11 years, I've seen quite a few builds being built during my time. But if I were to pick one that amazed me back then, when I just joined the server, and that still amazes me right now, I would definitely have to say Galadon at night.
It's difficult to choose one specific location because I love everywhere. A location which is special to me is a small town called Finisterun, which is located on the angle where the Bruin meets the River Mythafell. This was the first project that I was a part of and it led me to becoming an artist.
One of my favorite builds has always been Dolamroth, just because I have very fond memories of building in it, but since we've recently implemented some of our newer textures and models that allow for more realistic building techniques, there are many places on the server that would take the first place for me now. Like one of the more recent ones, Harland was just finished, which looks amazing. There's also Heneth Anun and the work in progress Karandras that look very promising.
Toti, how does one start helping out with texturing on MCME?
Well, as to how one would get involved with the texturing team on MCME, I would first appreciate it if you reach out to me, and then we can go through figuring out if you have any experience in using any photo editing or painting software. You don't have to, it's not required, but it helps to establish your skill level. Once we got past that, we can basically just jump into getting you hooked up with your tutorials and connected up with people around the team that know certain tools better than others. Once your first texture is pretty much finished, we give you an official texture that goes into the MCME resource pack, and we'll work with you through that, help you get it to completion. Once your first texture makes it into the resource pack, you're officially a texturer with MCME.
Ariel, what MCME development related project would you say was the biggest you worked on?
That's definitely the Animated Entities project we started last year for the charity stream event. These virtual entities have several benefits. They are less resource demanding than the vanilla server entities. They can be animated with Bedrock Minecraft style animations imported from Brockbench. They can do pathfinding on long distances. It's a huge and still ongoing project. We are planning to use the entities to populate the MCME map to make it look more vivid. First step will be simple NPCs walking around in the cities and villages. Next step will be to add more complex behavior and dialogues so we can use them to create a better new player introduction. Eventually, I hope to introduce some kind of role-playing to MCME.
Creedy, what building project are you looking forward to seeing completed the most?
The build I'm looking forward to the most is probably gonna be Barad-dûr. Like, it's just the complexity and the sheer size of it that kind of scares me a little bit and also amazes me.
Q, what's something on MCME that you've put a lot of effort into that people don't really realise?
Well, during the first few years in MCME, there were many revisions to organizing the community. We reinvented ourselves multiple times, such as the wars, the rank system, the badges. There's basically this system as to how MCME operates that was shaped by people who have ideas, discussions, or experiences. And after that, we needed an implementation to solidify this idea or vision, and then I would execute that implementation.
But what was the project you put the most work into on MCME?
I'd have to say Dolamroth was the primary project in 2017 for a good year. Maybe a year and a half. It was then that I got a lot more active and built many houses, had many jobs throughout the city, even got the chance to co-lead my first little sub-project as one of the districts of the city. It's still one of the largest single projects on MCME, perhaps just beaten by Moria depending on how you see it. The city is absolutely massive, containing well over 600 houses. It's got a couple of harbors, a palace complex, a fort, lots of surrounding fields, and a sewer that's been revamped more times than the city itself. The sheer amount of content will be hard to beat by any other project.
And Smaug, a very important question here. Who is your favourite guide?
No comment.
And here's our final question. Who is your favourite Valar?
Oh, that question makes me nervous. What would Credo say if I say Toti? And what would Smaug think if I say Bart? How will Toti feel if I say Smaug? And what will Bart still talk to me if I say Credo?
If I'd absolutely have to choose, I would probably gravitate towards Bart or Emeryld, just because I worked more with them. But since Bart lobbied before this interview to see if I would choose him, I'll go with Emeryld.
My answer would be Toti. He's very ambitious, but manages to mostly fulfill his promises and ideas. He's a very talented individual. Him and I both understand what we want to do with MCME. Overall, I like working with him, as I can trust him. I can just not message him for a week about something he's working on, because I know he knows what he's doing. We don't have to constantly check up on each other, but whenever one of us is in need, we can trust on the other one being there.
Since Bart lobbied before this interview to see if I would choose him, I'll go with Emeryld.
I like all the MCME Valar equally, so instead I'll answer my favorite Tolkien Valar. My answer for this question is Al, because he created the dwarves. Great work, Al.
I do not have favorites. I like everyone pretty much the same, how and who they are. It also would be not really wise to tell who your favorite is if I were to have favorites, but no, I like everyone.
I would not be able to choose a favorite among the Valar. I appreciate all of the Valars who have put and still put a tremendous amount of their own free time into the server, and choosing a favorite among them would not be fair to the others.
Well, that was a great interview, and I hope you enjoyed it. Alas, no gossip or scandals, but never fear. We will be back with more internationally recognised journalism, so be sure to hit that like and subscribe button to see more. Thank you all for watching. This is a very angry badger from the MCME Times signing off.